I want to hear from you guys. I have a lot of projects going on and I'm always looking for new ones, especially cool, old, retro speedboats like the Wellcraft back there. This is my personal boat and I have a vested interest in this one as well. However, this boat's kind of a passion project right now. So it'll get there. We'll get the old Wellcraft 312 Stinger back up and running here soon. But I would love to build a speedboat for one of you guys. So if one of you guys are looking to have a speedboat built or some sort of custom, let's say 35, 38 and under speedboat project, reach out to me. I would love to hear from you. Shoot me an email, ben@boatrestorationbyben.com. Or if you just want to share with me your current boat project, again, shoot me an email, drop me a comment. I would love to hear from you guys there. Also, we're going to go ahead and ramp up our membership program through YouTube. So for $4.99 a month, you get to be an exclusive member of the Boat Restoration by Ben channel. You'll have access to exclusive content as well as direct consultation with me, which at these days, I get so many people reaching out, I can't get back to everybody. So if you become a member, $4.99 a month, $4.99 I should say, on YouTube, you'll have exclusive access to special content that nobody else can see and direct access to me to consult about your boat project. Go over there, click on the membership link, sign up, and I look forward to talking to all sorts of you guys. All right, let's get back in today's video where we're gonna rip into the Wellcraft some more. Start dealing with this crazy nest of wires so we can go pick up some Caterpillar diesels. Well guys, ever since I bought my salvage GMC 2500, I did not have the proper floor mats for the truck. So I just threw in my old floor mats that I've been using for years. Not to mention these little dinky things in the back. So I had the opportunity with 3W. 3W actually reached out to me and offered their best product for my specific truck. Let's go ahead and get these in the truck, see what these bad boys are all about. How about we do one of these actions? Yeah, that is much better. Look at that. Perfectly molded for my truck. And then check out how these things fit. They literally snap in to the existing spots I'll show you on the driver's side. These carpet pieces just snap right off, exposing the 3W Autolife logo. Just snap them back on. Perfect. They even overlap on the door edge here, which I love. The 3W brand offers high quality mats for MPVs, SUVs, and trucks, just like mine. Perfect fit for the driver's side. The carpet mat has a reinforced portion here where your feet always go and wear out a mat for the pedals. I love that. And then look, again, snaps right on in both spots. And this mat even snaps right into the existing poppers. For the floor, these mats utilize an exclusive Thorex material, which isn't just your standard rubberized floor mat. These are actually extra durable, and they're not just some generic, you know, one size fits all mat. These mats are custom molded for your model of vehicle. Specifically, I mean, these are identical to the factory molded mats that would have come in this 2021 GMC 2500 HD. The 3W brand uses Vigor Mold technology, so these mats are built to be durable and last over time, keeping their shape and not deteriorating, especially in high wear spots. You can attribute that also to the exclusive Thorex mat material that they're using with these, as well as the designs that are built into them in high wear spots. Get them all dirty, they rinse off real easily. Look at that. Like there is nothing ever on it. Love it. What a great material. Now 3W is celebrating their brand day from September 9th to September 30th. Order through the link below in the description to get 35% off through the official site and up to $50 off on Amazon. Also, register with 3W Official's website to claim an extra surprise gift. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Go check them out, 3W Auto Life. I really like the quality and the factory finish that these add to the truck and are great for wet conditions, muddy conditions, you name it. All right guys, now let's get back to this video's content. What's up guys? Welcome back to Boat Restoration by Ben. And on today's episode, we are back on the Wellcraft 33 Coastal. We just got the fuel tanks into the boat, which was a bit of a task, especially with removing these deck hatches that literally weigh like 400 pounds a piece and are in the way. Fuel tanks are in, and it is time to prep exhaust. Oh, that weighs a lot. Engine mounts. So we can get the twin 3116 Caterpillar diesels dropped in this thing and start rigging them up. So this almost 30-year-old boat can go back onto the water and rip just like it did back in the day. Thank you guys for watching, and here we go. I've got this big old tub of, oh my God, I'm gonna use my gantry to pick that up. But what looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8? Does that make sense? Yeah, 8 engine mounts. What doesn't make sense is that all of them are double-sided unless they specifically built them that way. Not sure. I'm gonna have to pull them out. But anyway, we'll use my gantry hoist to lift them up into the boat. I need to get those bolted into the stringers. I'll show you that real quick. I don't see any big stringer bolts. However, oh, there are the back plates. I see them. So that's interesting. Maybe we got a bunch of paperwork. We got our dripless shaft seals there, which is actually great. You don't have to get new ones. So that's wonderful. But let's see. I'm looking for like 1/2 inch thick bolts. And I'm not, I mean, these are mounts for one of the engines, at least half of one of the engines. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything here. I definitely didn't see anything that big in the trailer. Not that I was looking too hard. Maybe I'll go check the trailer, but hang on. Let me grab one of these and I'll kind of show you guys what the current escapade is. So here, I'm gonna set this here. Oh, those look like they were made new and never used on this boat, which is interesting. Typically you're reusing old engine mounts, but here. So if we're down in the engine bay, you can see the old existing holes that go through these honker 4-inch by 10-inch stringers, and then these are 4-inch by like 18 inches. Big old massive stringers for those Caterpillar diesels to sit on. I'm gonna step down here, but we got 4 holes, and those mounts will, I believe, face inward, and we'll have plates on this back side. So there'll be a big metal plate here, 4 big bolts going through, a big metal plate here with the angle that sits off, and then those 3116s will sit down on top of that in this bed here. And back there, this is a straight shaft express style boat. So straight shaft meaning the engines are straight, it's not a V drive. The engines sit pretty much in the middle of the boat, so it's roughly about where we are currently. And the prop shaft will come out right there, where our dripless shaft seal will integrate. And then there's our water pickup, 1.5 or 2-inch water pickup for the Caterpillar diesel as well. But as you can see, I'm standing in amongst quite the mess of wiring, and there's no way of knowing what's good, what's bad, and I mean what isn't really even needed anymore at this stage. However, I need to go through it. It looks like I have some wiring hookup, old wire harness connection for the port engine. Yeah, the old wiring harness connector or hookups for the starboard engine. I've got a couple freshwater pumps that are hanging out. That's for the freshwater system. All of that PEX tubing is going to need to be replaced, which is unfortunate. And who knows if, yeah, look at that. That just broke right off. Who knows if the wiring's any good or if the pump still runs. But, that all was mounted on this front wall here, including the battery charger, which again, who knows if that works. It's definitely been replaced at some point. That's not a 1996 battery charger. And what else? We got a mid-bilge pump. We got a mid-bilge pump hose that's not connected. We got some old fuel line that's just laying in here that's not connected to anything. Transducer wire. Once you start looking at it and talking through it, it actually isn't the worst stuff in the world. Here's my head tank, which I believe is going to have to run aft and mount back behind that fuel tank. So I need a head tank installed back there. I have to ask about that. And then probably a tank breather or a water fill. Again, have to see where that runs back and mounts to. I don't think it goes there because my cutouts for my fuel tank fill and my supply and returns are directly in line with where they are currently. So that's where that fuel tank sits. It's not going anywhere else. On the starboard side too, we've got some big old like 0 gauge positive battery cables. One's likely for starter, the other one is for battery. Yep, exactly. I did see some negative ground cables in here somewhere. Oh yeah, here's one. There's a negative ground cable. We got 2 also going to the starboard engine, so positive wires, 1 starter, 1 for the battery. I'm sure there's some alternator hookups. The green wire you see running throughout the boat, that's all of our grounding wires, which will ground metal to designated grounding plates. Yep, see, look, here's our grounding wire for this through-hull fitting. That bronze has to be grounded, or else they turn that color, green. And then again, PEX tubing, that's all brittle. That's all gonna have to be replaced. Some sort of sensor, some more hosing for, who knows, water tank, fish boxes, head holding tank vent, you name it. But a lot of hosing here. Look, another freshwater pump. Who knows where that goes or mounts to. Fuel tank vent, which I'll have to install on this side as well. I need to trace that hose back and see where it's hiding. But a lot of stuff that's sitting down here in the bilge that when those engines drop in here from the gantry, none of these wires can be sitting here down in the bilge below the engines. So the moment we put those engines in, you might as well ride off trying to get underneath them. So this needs to be clean. The hoses need to be removed and the wiring needs to be removed. So I am probably going to section by section pull up wiring, shifter cables, transmission cables, ground wires, get rid of fuel hoses. We're going to do all new fuel hoses, fish box or bilge hoses, and then engine wiring harness, and have those all separated and probably strung upward so they're out of the way. Same thing on the port side. So I'm probably going to do that first. So organize wires and hoses, And then I need to go find my bolts or order bolts for those super robust engine mounts. So, or mounting plates, whatever you want to call them. A lot to talk through there, but it is necessary work to do before we even think about dropping engines in. So, hose and wiring organization, step 1, rip through that real quick, throw that on time lapse. Step 2, go find some bolts. See about mounting those engine plates in. Success! I found zip ties. I need to order more zip ties because I'm out. All I've got is those big boys. But look at this. I found what appears to be a camping tray, camping pot. I don't know, something you cook with while you're camping. Full of the bolts that I need. These are 95% sure my engine mount bolts that'll go through the transom, that'll go through the stringers. Have I been saying transom this whole time? I hope not. Hopefully I've been saying stringers. Anyway, this is great. This is everything we were hoping for. Because could you imagine having to buy all that hardware again? Yeah, I can't imagine. And it would be painful. Okay, so that's good. We got our bolts that we need to bolt up our engine plates. When I do put those in, again, we'll be using some marine adhesive just to seal the holes, seal the plates up against the wall. That stuff does come off after it's dried if you do have to peel the plates off in the future. But again, like the fuel tanks, I hope nobody ever has to pull these motors out again. Anyway, okay, I've got zip ties, so we're gonna start organizing some hoses and wires. Well, not too shabby. Actually, I mean, the systems that are on this boat, wiring, hoses, aren't really all that complicated once you get them out of the rat's nest. So we got our shifter cables and throttle cables all sitting right there. Look, which one's which? That one works. This one. Those are our shifters, and then throttles right there and there. Sorry, having to reach to get to that. But yeah, anyway, those are up. We got battery cables for the starboard engine, battery cables for the port engine, wiring harness for the port engine, wiring harness for the starboard engine, and then everything else that was down here was hoses for fish boxes and tanks. So I I believe this is for the head. These are for fish boxes, and then a bilge hose, so a mid-bilge hose that actually runs all the way back there and goes to a through-hull fitting. Then we've got a bunch of PEX that's all broken up to a bunch of freshwater pumps and mid pumps that run probably fish box fills and all that. Oh, there's also a hose and connection for an air conditioning pump. So I'm gonna have to look forward and see if there's actually AC in the cabin. We'll hook that back up. Who knows if that pump even still works. But that's what that mid through-hull fitting is there. On this side, same thing. We have our intake for the engine water, our prop shaft through fitting, and then a couple wiring harnesses. So the charger wiring harnesses and other wires from that run 110 volt systems on the boat. We'll have to see which systems in the back require that. Then a couple of clapped out water pumps that had PEX tubing going to them. Again, those probably will get replaced, and those are a secondary, probably like, actually no, those are items that'll be like, hey, do you really want this? You know, we can install those later on the backside if we need to. And then some fish box plumbing drains, another bigger drain there, and a wiring harness feed, as well as a fluid feed that goes back to our steering reservoir and back wiring panel. So with all that set out and moved, I think I feel comfortable loosely installing each engine mount, just to get an idea of if I have all the hardware and where each of them go, and just to make sure I can get my hand and fingers around nuts and bolts on each side of the stringers, especially where there's openings. I can lift all that hosing still back up and get behind there to put my backing plates. So I'd call that a win, and that was easier than I thought it would be. And we have more here than I thought we would as well. Well, this kind of sucks, guys. I just got into a pickle with these plates. So clearly all these plates have been remade. I'm sure the old ones were rusted. I'm gonna have to coat these with something once they go in the boat, so they don't rust up again. But every single one of these holes is just slightly too small. And I tried using an impact to run through a hole or two, and it just started friction welding itself in the hole. So I say that sucks because I'm gonna have to literally drill out every single one of these holes so it can fit this 3/8 inch bolt. Really sucks because there's a lot of plates. A lot of plates. Well, 8 to be specific, but 8 plates times 4, 32 holes, plus 2 more holes each. That's 16 more holes. Times 2. Because we have all those flat plates as well. Let's see. What else could we do to avoid working on the engine mounts right now? Let's see. I know the turbos are on the right side. Yeah, the right side. I know this is my left hand, but the right side of each engine we're facing backwards. So the exhaust is going to go out. Look, I mean, it's a really short shot straight back there and then out those holes right there. I could probably mock up my exhaust. Just get that in the boat. Make sure that fits in okay. I mean, I'd rather do that now than when there's a couple engines where I'm sitting. Yeah. Why don't we avoid our current problems and install the exhaust? Okay, those are placed in there. I'm not exactly sure if, I'm pretty sure those hoses are just gonna go over it just to make it easier to get them in and out. But you can see the general orientation, kinda, it's a little dark, but they angle out towards the sides. And then like I said, those turbos sit on the right-hand side of the engine. So this one's actually got a big couple 90s that'll kick that exhaust over on the back side of the engine. And that's gonna happen, probably right about here underneath this step down. So that'll kick it over and then hit my exhaust. Now the next thing I need to figure out is where the mufflers go in line. The only spot I can really think that they sit, they're pretty big, we'll show them to you in a second, is right here on these flats. So maybe right out of the engine, straight into a muffler, and then down our straight pipes out the side. Makes the most sense to me, because that is the spacing that I have. But I've got this big open plate back here, so I don't know what goes on that. It looks like something was definitely sitting on it. I bet it was a water heater. It's all rusty and gross. But anyway, I think a little more vacuuming, and then I'll see if those mufflers will fit on those that flat. However, this one, I don't know. Does the muffler go back behind? Maybe the muffler goes back here before it goes out of the boat. But that wouldn't, I mean, who knows? Let's see what that spacing looks like. Okay, I figured it out. The mufflers definitely go back on that plastic platform back there. So those exhaust tubes slide forward, which would make sense because I need a little more space on this guy here. But unfortunately, and I'm glad I tested this, they have to come from the front and go back. Well, actually, shoot, what am I talking about? I can go right through this hatch right here. That's convenient. But yeah, look at, they almost fit through the fish box, but not quite. So we're gonna open up our hatch here, get these bad boys through here. Yeah, mucho better. Ugh. I forgot this hatch opened. I've been standing on it for too long. Okay, so yeah, that pipe slides forward, muffler, insert, and then the muffler attaches to the flange that goes on the exterior of the hull. So there's 4 screws that hold this muffler down to that plastic plate. No isolators from what I can see, just bolts right up to it. And I'm gonna use some adhesive again, sealant, just cause. But yeah, these good old Now Lift silencer. Marine muffler, certified for marine use, fire retardant, USCG, meets the standards of the Coast Guard. That's always good. I like it, Picasso. Oh yeah. You know, my mind and heart want me to straight pipe it, but we're gonna leave it be. I like it. That's a good start. And I'm gonna avoid more of my engine mount problems by going, stood up too fast. I'm gonna go down back, and I think I'm gonna install some prop shafts and maybe new cutlass bearings. There are those flanges. They're not fancy in metal, but neither are mine. So on my pursuit, I'll caulk them all, but we're just gonna leave them loose for the time being, just for proof of concept. I'm gonna go put this on the other side. Hey, how you doing? Boom. Yeah, check it. So look, I'm pretty sure he got brand new prop shafts, or these are really nicely reconditioned, but brand new prop shafts. We're just gonna call them that. So we can throw those in, and then if you notice on the struts, they're missing the cutlass bearing. Well, guess what? Brand new cutlass bearings. Love that. So those are gonna go in. And then there are our dripless shaft seals with our end seal and coupler. Boom, boom, boom. While we don't have anything in the way, we might as well go ahead and put those in. So I'm gonna de-sheath the prop shafts, remove our transmission coupler from up here, and then slide these bad boys up through the strut and then into our opening in the boat. That all is a wet flange, and then the shaft seal is what keeps the inside of the boat dry. The cutlass bearings are just rubber with brass, and those use water to lubricate them on the shaft. That's why you don't put a boat in gear, or not, I guess you don't put a boat in gear on land for any period of time or a long period of time, because that rubber and metal doesn't have water to lubricate it. So anyway, unwrap these, slide them both into the boat, and we'll have prop shafts, new cutlass bearings, and dripless shaft seals installed. Well, that's all we got for this video, guys. I am literally heading up to Pennsylvania tomorrow to pick up the twin Caterpillars that are gonna go in the Wellcraft. Exhausts are in, loosely mounted up to the mufflers and to the exterior flanges. We've got a crossover pipe for the port diesel. I've got all my engine mounts that I got to drill out. I'm told there may be new hardware laying around, but I'll look and see if I can't find it. Wires are separated, divided out. I actually have an idea what's going on down here now. So next step, oh, and of course, both the fuel tanks are in. But next step, cruise up to Pennsylvania, pick up the diesel engines, bring them down here, and I mean, all we can do, I'm gonna have to match up every single engine mount with the engine because they were specifically drilled, I was told, to match each one. So only thing I can do now is get the engine here and then start figuring out where the rest of these puzzle pieces go that fit into the boat. By no means are we close to being done, but we are definitely trudging down the right road and getting the right things done. So as always, thank you guys for watching. This is Boat Restoration by Ben, and we will see you in the next video.